And I'm glad that you're joining us this morning as we continue to discuss, topical issues that move our country forward. We this morning will be paying attention and looking at. We started the conversation or series yesterday on appointive positions. Now, chiefs should not be subject to ethnic balancing or the federal character principle. It says the president in the last 8 years has come under severe criticisms for alleged sectionalism in the choice of his service chiefs and heads of security agencies to the exclusion of certain parts of the country. Buhari has largely declined to make any corrections to the allegations or alleged imbalances in the years that he has led the country, even though he has even been severely flayed by kinsmen. Atiku Abubakar for the alleged lopsided appointment of heads of service and heads of security agencies at 17. Now, some of you may have recalled, during the campaigns or even before the campaigns, where the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, had mentioned that, that the President Buhari administration hasn't done well in that regard. The lopsided appointments is one that doesn't speak of unity and, balance. Says at that point he had mentioned that the heads of security agencies across the country were all from, one part of the country, which does not reflect, the federal character principle, does not reflect the, the multi-ethnic and multicultural nature of our nation, Nigeria. Well, Femi Adesina yesterday said, look, we cannot chiefs appointments to ethnic balancing or federal character principle. Now, recall that federal character principle was put in place to ensure that there's a sense of belonging to every Nigerian and every region of the country. All right. So while many have criticized that, some others have said, look, it is in the best interest of Nigerians to symbolize at least the 6 geopolitical zones, and then also the ministers should be appointed from 36 states of the federation to, reflect some level of fairness and to carry everyone along. Well, for the next administration, the life of this administration is winding down, has less than 50 days or so, about 50 days before, the end of the Buhari administration. There was a certain agenda for the next administration. This administration has been criticized for nepotism and lopsided appointments and all. When it comes to the next administration, what would happen? Now, tie this with the fact that in the National Assembly, the APC is kicking against, most northern governors who are also jostling for the position of Senate President. In their argument, the country needs competent hands, competent people who would lead the National Assembly. Well, the National Vice Chairman of the APC Northwest, Malam Salihu Lukman, and the party's Director of Publicity on Monday, Bala Ibrahim, said for fairness, in the spirit of fairness, to give other geopolitical zones a sense of belonging in the view of the Muslim presidential ticket adopted by the party. So far, no fewer than 8 senators had indicated an interest in the race. They include Senator Jibrin Barrow, Kano Central, Senator Musa, Niger East, Oji Kalu, Abia North, Godswill Akpabio, Akwa Ibom Northwest. Others are Senator Osita Izunaso, Imo West, Peter Ndubweze, Imo North, Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara West, and Ahmed Lawan of Yobe North. These are people, prominent names in the race for the Senate presidency. Now, if we're talking about appointed positions, we're also looking at, the National Assembly, its principal officers, as well as, those who run the affairs of the National Assembly in the next 4 years. Where do Nigerians stand? Now, take it back to the Jonathan administration. The Jonathan administration was accused by people, especially people from the South, were saying, oh, Jonathan had appointed people who he didn't know. and they betrayed him in the 2015 elections. Well, the President Buhari administration says the president would work with people that he knows, people that he can trust. So it doesn't matter where they come from, he's going to appoint them. If they're all from the same region and he trusts them, then he would appoint them. Now, put this together side by side and now drag the comparison with, or set agenda for the next administration. Come May 29, as we have it today, as declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu would be sworn in. We know that he's from the Southwest. He's Muslim from the Southwest. He's vice presidential, the vice president elect is from the Northeast. Did I say Asiwaju is from the Northwest, Southwest rather? It's from the Southwest. The vice president elect as well is Muslim from the Northeast. So the argument for most people would be the number 3 man in the country should not also be Muslim from the North, as we already have representation of the North, especially the Northeast, from in the person of the vice president elect. Also, they're saying the Southwest is ruled out in this race. So apparently, for some people, for most other people, the South and the Southeast should provide or should present the Senate president at least. Now, Godswill Akpabio is one prominent name in that race. Another prominent name is Senator Ojus Okalu. Now, a few days ago, it was rumored that Senator Godswill Akpabio may be stepping down for a ministerial appointment and all. But then he's come out to say, look, he's not giving up, nothing stopping that. He's not backing down in the race for the Senate presidency. There were also speculations that the APC had zoned the Senate presidency to the South-South. And most people had thought, oh, if it's going to the South-South, if it's been zoned to the South-South, then it would mean that Senator Godswill Akpabio would have it. The party has said, well, at the moment they haven't zoned, but they would not allow the Saraki situation, replay itself in the 10th Assembly. This is the 10th Assembly we're talking about. Let's discuss this. Join in with your 2 cents. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. The simple question is, what would lopsided appointments mean for this country in the next administration? We've seen it play out in this administration. Would it also play out a similar way in the next administration? Also, the President Buhari administration also argues to say, look, there's no really lopsided appointments by his administration. They also say that, look, most people who have been appointed have come from the southern part of the country. But people also argue, as critics say, those positions are not the prominent positions. They're not, the key positions. They were given certain smaller positions just to make it seem like, they were being carried along. What is your argument? Join in 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is ID Noble.
ID Noble, good to have you. Let's hear you.
Yeah. You see, if we refuse to allow this thing to come into the Constitution, some people will continue to use some kind of cunningness or craftiness to continue to dominate. And that is not fair. Because Nigeria is for all of us. And nobody should be allowed to always take the lead in everything. You know what happened in this Aguen administration. It's only because people don't talk much. Look at the president from the north. Look at the Senate president from the north. Look at the some of the key officers, even the National Assembly there. I know that We have the speaker from Southwest. I know that one. And I know that the VP also from Southwest. But then, if you look at what is going to play out in this coming one now, they are trying to push Wase to be the speaker of the House of Reps. Now they are trying to say the thing should go to Northwest again in the Senate. So, a particular religion and a particular set of people, they always like to dominate. As if the other side is not there. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria is a secular country. People always try to push up the argument of competency. As far as I'm concerned, that is just a kind of a cunning way of pushing people aside. And if they continue like that, I'm telling you, there will always continue to be a kind of disagreement. This thing should be placed in the Constitution. And that one will settle the thing. Everything should be done decently and in order. But for some people to be using psychonic to be wanting to push other people aside, it's not fair. And that is why we'll continue to be in this situation. That people will keep on shouting that they are being marginalized. So that is just the thing for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, speaking of marginalization, it's been a term that has been, being used and thought about across the country. Many times you hear people say, oh, we're being marginalized, we're being this, we're being discriminated against, and our people, we don't have representation at this level, we don't have representation at that level, no one is carrying us along. How do we solve this problem going forward? Set an agenda for the next president as it concerns appointive positions. That's what we're talking about this morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Tony from Kefi.
I didn't get your name.
Yes, my name is Tony from Kefi.
Tony from Kefi, thank you for joining us. Go ahead, let's hear you, please.
All right, so competence is found everywhere. So when anybody brings competence as a mode of argument, then the person will one day not have a country that will even find competence. So I think what the APC needs to do is the Asuaju has the job of making this country unite. Just like Obasanjo said. Because if he feels at this time, this administration that is coming in, that will be sworn in on May 29th, if they fail to balance this country, then we will have no choice but to get more agitations and things like this, because they use competence to bring Muslim tickets. And the supposed what's happening in Kaduna, competence brought about what is because the both governors are competent. The southern Kaduna people are dying every day, and they are competent. So they have to be very careful. This is a very bad situation, and everything should be in the interest of Nigeria, not in the interest of a tribe, a religion, or a set of people. It has to be in the interest of Nigeria or nothing else.
All right. Thank you very much, Tony. Has to be in the interest of Nigeria and nothing else. Now, putting his argument forward as well, of, buttressing his argument, the Femi Adesina yesterday said, look, when people started to talk about lopsided appointments and all, that the President Buhari administration had to look at the whole thing and brought out a checklist in 2018, which showed that Ogun State had the highest number of government officials, followed by Imo. Now, he also maintained that the Katsina, where the president comes from, was number 6 or so on the ladder, on the number 6 of the country or the states where appointments came from. And he said security is one area where you have to put your best foot forward. And so people should not complain. The president had to choose, those who he believed were most competent, as he reserves the right to appoint whoever from wherever. Hello, good morning.
Hi, friends, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
How are you today?
I'm good. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Go ahead, let's hear you, Paul.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is, if what is happening in this administration repeat itself with the power shift to the South, then I would say we have never achieved anything. We have never done well. Because all we expected that at the end of the day, the incoming administration to sit down and look at how they can balance up this appointment. It mustn't look at it. Some people have monopoly of ruling others. It mustn't make every people in this country feel as if they are the second class citizens. I believe if this administration will work well, they serve as a catalyst to balancing appointment in this country, in reuniting the whole country. Because when you are complaining, it's not about, it will depend on additional coming up to list all those things. Now, appointments are given, but when you look at the key positions that are given to people from different zones, it doesn't balance, it doesn't add up. That's why you have all this agitation here and there. Okay, now, even if the ask was to be speaker from the North Central, does that mean that there's no any other person from the North Central that has won the election, the House of Reps? If they ask another person from the Southwest to be either the Senate President, does that mean that there's no somebody from the Southeast that can be a Senate President? Or if he asks from the Northwest, the Northwest, how many times have they ruled? You know, a lot of things need to be considered. A lot of things need to be put into. And at this time, I want to, on the flip side, I want to call on Mr. Mayowa to put mouth for us. So, because this one, we don't know how they want to do it, but as it stands now, we need balance, equitable, and justice in this administration if they want to make things work. So that at the end of the day, let people come up from different zones and sit up and begin to say these are the issues, these are the things we need. If I'm coming from the north, we look at the all around the north. What can I present? What can I bring to the table? If you say from the southeast, what can I bring to the table? From the south, what all the zones. At least if there's an all-inclusiveness, a lot of things will be balanced. Most of this agitation will stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in, Paul. Moving on, let's bring in another caller quickly before we get talking some more. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, I try to greet you.
Good morning, Sunday the Prince. Welcome.
He said we should set the agenda for the incoming administration. Is it your topic? I'm just learning you.
Say again? Yes. On appointed positions, there's need for us to begin to speak on these things before you have a situation again where people are saying, oh, appointments are lopsided and all.
It's just like as I advised you today. The only way the incoming administration will get it right is by balancing the appointment across the siege of political zones. You know, like what the Federal Election said, there are some appointments that are silent, that are not recognized. But those ones that are, that are open, you can appoint the silent appointment. You can give it to your people. Nobody will raise the eyebrow. But those key ones that are meant to balance across the siege of political zones should be done like police, army chief, DSS boss, custom boss, immigration boss, prison boss, army boss, naval boss, air force boss. You talk about this, about 8 of them in number. When you look at across present administration, the almost all the positions were occupied by the people from the north. There's only 2, the one from naval and the air force, one occupied by the southwest and one occupied by the south. Then the rest was given to the north entirely. So those things raise a lot of eyebrow that people were agitated. This ones that are open, you share among the siege of political zones. The key positions that are open that people understand very well. You can share it among the siege of political zones. Then the kitchen cabinet, which does not raise so much eyebrow, you can give it to your people. There's no big deal in that. You understand? So for me, if the incoming administration, which we don't know who is coming up, but the incoming administration should balance his appointment across the siege of political zones. That's the only way equity, just and fairness will be. And I think with that, there will not be much agitation. But failing to do so, That means the same thing that happens in the previous administration might still happen now again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. Now, speaking of balance and all, we find a situation where we speak of these things, and it looks like, oh, they're just it's not that difficult. It's not that it's not that now the thing is, most of you, especially young people, when you tell people to go and join political parties, it looks like, oh, you're just speaking, you want them to, it doesn't make sense. But this is where it happens. Now, if you're a member of a political party from your state and you've worked well for the party at the state level and all, and you've done, you've contributed your quota to the party, you stand a chance of being appointed. All right? You stand a chance of getting appointments. And if you ever want to do good, that's your chance to begin to do good for your people. It's not enough to criticize government. It's easy. That's the easiest thing to do. To sit from afar and criticize leadership. Leadership is not easy. But if you sit aside and all you want to do is criticize, then things would never change. Why don't you become a part of the party, play a role, and when you get these appointments, you use the powers that you get to influence change in your community. Easy peasy, right? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning to you.
My name is Emeka. I'm calling from Kubwa.
Emeka, welcome. Let's hear you.
I heard what you were saying, and it's nice. We joined to the South. Made the move. It has been there before for 4 years. That's my own take in this view. It should be zoned to the South as it was earlier agreed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, Ned Voko, is this party a prominent? Is this party? Would this party be able to, field leadership or principal officers in the 10th Assembly? Because as it is, the APC controls the majority in the National Assembly, in the Senate, as well as in the House of Reps. Would we have a situation where politics is played, serious politics is played in the National Assembly, where the opposition party gets the Senate presidency? I don't know that. I don't see that happening. But if it happens, it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. It's going to be very interesting to watch. The APC already says, look, they would not allow what happened in 2015 happen again, where, Senator Bukola Saraki played an interesting form of politics that got him elected as the president of the Senate. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I call back.
Okay.
I heard you say that APC has the majority. It's a maker from Cuba.
Yes.
Abu Dhabi. I heard you say APC has a Labour Party and a PDP and other minority parties to work together. I think that we have the number to be that of the APC. And that's on my own view.
Okay.
And if they should work together, they'll be able to reclaim the senior president from APC. And as earlier agreed, either one of active, somebody that will perform, they will now have the chance to appoint somebody that will perform perfectly. So somebody like Senator Neri Mwoko that has been there at the House of Assembly, that representing the Senate Delta North constituency, it will work better. The one that helped us to fight for this Paris Club money, and our money was recovered from international organization, which all states in Nigeria benefited. I believe this is the good, and he's a billionaire already. He has all the money. He has been helping you, sponsoring youth. If they can give him the senior president, he will perform perfectly. That's my own take.
All right.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. More analysis on that. So in the 109 seats, the PDP has 27. Labour Party has 7. APC has 51. If we put all that together, I mean, is it possible to have all of them, all of these, politicians, all of these different parties coming together, YPP and the rest of them coming together to say we want to produce the Senate president. That's in the Senate, for starters. Would it be possible? Also recall that some seats haven't been declared yet, and most of those seats are said to be, places where APC may be, taking those spots. So, all those seats in the National Assembly. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Emerson.
Good morning to you.
Okay, yeah, my name is Usman, calling from Wellington.
Usman, good to have you join us.
Yeah. And first of all, let me just make my own contribution on this issue of the leadership of National Assembly. Well, to start with, I must say that, yes, fairness is good. And that is why when we look at the history of how the leadership of both the reps and the Senate was being formed so far, we will understand that there is some kind of a level of fairness. But this time around, we know what happened. There are, so many, new members into the House. And whoever, will be able to, play it, because politics is not something that you start at this or arrive at that. It is just a game of number and a game of calculations. And now we heard that now in the Senate, they are buying, members to just have, just as Indumi just made it clear that in the Senate, they are buying members just to have their own, to have leadership. So beyond that, patronage is another thing, because the APC will have it. Whatever it takes, the APC will have it. Now it's left for them to arrange themselves. Because I see why, for instance, if the opposition can organize themselves, they will have the leadership of both reps and the Senate, but it will not happen because that is politics for us. Because APC have it all.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
They know how to maneuver to have their way. That is all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again. The conversation continues. Keep it here. This is Eagles 102.3, your radio experience. You can count on you onto Eagles Outlook. We'll be talking more in a bit. Keep it with me.
Eagles 102.3, Abuja.
Yangabi, only 100 naira, you enter. Anybody can be. If you win your bid.
You get what you want buy, but you don't get money. Microwave, TV, I mean you want pay nepa bill. Download Yangabi from any online store. With 100 naira, fund your wallet. Choose a plan for your Get Pass. Start spinning and winning. The player with the highest number wins the bid. Anything what you want buy, you can bid it and win it. Yangabi, Nigeria's online marketplace.
You can call us on 091 3000 2014. 091 3000 2014.
Eagles 102.3, Abuja. The vibe is about to be lit. Don't you just love good music? I know you do. I don't really care if you're older. On Eagles 102.3 FM.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website, www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
9:33 is the time. Let's talk about, what it means to appoint people to office. Okay, let's be realistic. Okay, let's try to be realistic now. So when we talk about lopsided appointments and marginalization and all that stuff, if you were to win the election, if you were to win, the presidential election, for instance, and you were president-elect or even president, and you looked at those who, how we can be sentimental lots of times. You look at the numbers. Recall that President Buhari had looked at it at some point, when he became president, and said, "Look, I'm going to be president for everybody. I am for nobody. I belong to nobody. I belong to everybody. I belong to nobody." But after a while, it seemed like reality set in, and the man looked around him and saw that, look, there are people who actually worked and made sure that I got into this office, because, well, Nigerian politics is about compensation. And so he felt, oh, let's compensate these people. He made that statement about, 95% and 5%. And that played out. People that have held onto that and say, look, the president appointed people who he believes gave him their votes, 95% as against 5%, and so, well, there's no reason why they should complain. After all, they didn't vote for me en masse, the way that other people voted. But then looking at the character of a president, should a president, a person who is elected president by a majority of Nigerians, should they continue to look at it in that light and say, look, I want to at least compensate those who gave me their votes, who worked to see that I became successful or the elections went my way? All right? Put yourself in their shoes. What decision would you make as president? I know it's easy for people to say, oh, I would definitely not be looking at it. I'm president for all. I'm not president for those who voted for me alone. Realistically, would you be able to bring that balance? Especially looking at how things have played out in the last election or since the last election. Do you think that the president-elect would be able to rise above that sentiment? I'm just asking. If you were in his shoes, would you be able to rise above the sentiment, saying that, oh, many people or some people are not really, may not have really worked for you? Look at the elections. In this round of election, the winner came out with 8 million votes. 8 million votes. His closest contender had 6.7 million votes, according to the numbers by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So if you were in his position, would it be easy for you to say, look, I will need to carry everyone along? Ideally, that should be what it is, right? Ideally, the president should carry everyone along, provide a sense of, unity and belonging to every Nigerian. But the way that Nigerian politics works, where people feel entitled to certain positions based on what they've been able to do, the help and assistance they've been able to render, and all, where people want to reward their cronies and friends, where it seems like, oh, if it's not from my ethnic stock or it's not my religion, then they shouldn't get it. Johnny, let me hear you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, the problem of Nigeria...
sorry, I didn't get your name. What's your name again?
Yes, my name is Tony from Turkey. I'm calling back.
Okay.
One of the things that is killing Nigeria is not separating governance from politics. Politics ends the day you are sworn in, and you start governance immediately. And governance is the people that you govern, not your political party, not your tribe, your religion, or your zone. It's the people, because you are an administrator that administers the authority over all the minerals in the whole country, over 200 million Nigerians. So if you, after the elections, continue thinking that way, then you are not an administrator. You need to be kicked out. That's the truth. So about people who gave you vote or didn't give you vote, or people All of those things is for you to become what you are already now. So if you want to use your tool to lopsided the country, remember, if any building is tilted one side and the next tenant comes into the house and continues loading the building or the truck on the side it is tilted, the building or the truck might leave the road. So let's not talk about who gave me vote or who didn't give me vote. It's about how this vehicle will continue moving so that we can move from where we are to another point. And remember, 4 years is too much for politics. That's exactly what's killing Nigeria, because in the 4 years, they keep doing politics and no 1 second for governance of the country. They come in after 4 years, they come in and May 29th, they continue politics until another May 29th, they continue politics to another May 29th. They don't think about the interests of Nigeria. Because if leaders love this country would have moved forward.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Interesting analogy there. Don't load it on one side. If you do, it just may collapse. Interesting one. Well, let's get in the conversation some more. You can join in with your 2 cents. The numbers to call are 09073530044 and 09087668888. You can send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. Hello, good morning. Okay, now next dimension. Let's talk about INEC and the judiciary, as well as what's playing out with the petitions signed, or rather the petitions by the political parties, opposition political parties. About 5 of them that have gone to court. There is yet no date for the hearing. No date has been fixed for the hearing for these petitions in court. It has left Nigerians wondering, why is it that after submitting these petitions to the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, there hasn't been a date fixed yet? Well, INEC has also responded to say, seems like we're losing this bad network here. Let's bring in a caller as well quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Lagos.
Go ahead, let's hear you quickly.
Sir?
Go ahead, let's hear you. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead. We want to hear your thoughts. Okay, seems like the network did you in. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. What's your name, please?
My name is Usman Chinko, calling from Tafa Local Government.
Usman, go ahead. Let's hear you, please.
Yes, sir. I heard you talking about INEC and other issues in Nigeria. Yeah, about INEC. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sir. I want to comment on INEC and election tribunal petition on whatever you're talking about. So I think in the presidential election, there's a peace accord that every candidate has signed to accept the defeat. I don't know why politicians in Nigeria are yet to abide with such regulations. Going to court, tribunal, do this, do that. We need to accept the defeat.
I think we need to correct something. The peace accord was to ensure that themselves and their followers would maintain peace and follow the right channels towards seeking redress when they feel aggrieved. That's which we mean going to court, which is what most of the political parties have done. The peace accord has nothing to do with accepting defeat.
Okay, sir. Okay, I think they have to revise on that because we need to move forward. Okay. Nigeria has to develop in a such a way that we need to accept the defeat. We need to believe that one person is only one person and the right should rule Nigeria. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's my contribution.
Thank you very much for lending your thoughts to the conversation. Well, should we get to the point where we make it mandatory that everybody that INEC declares winner is winner? I don't know. I don't think that would be right. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining in.
This is ID Noble calling back, please.
Adinobo, you have 1 minute, please.
Okay. You see, not until we put it in the constitution, politicians will continue to play the politics of the winner takes it all. To my mind, I think if we should put it in the constitution that if you are the one that emerges as the winner, maybe you take 60 or 70% of the whole thing, then you leave the rest to those who happen not to do well at the elections. Because if we continue the way we are going, honestly, we'll continue to have agitation from agitation.
When you say leave something for the others, what do you mean? How do you mean take 60%?
It will no longer be a do or die affair, because they will know that if even they miss out, they will still have something to hold on to assist in the governance of the country. You know, to be the winner, people will continue to see the reason why they continue to fight. That is what the truth. See, until you are trying to say that realistically, if you win and some people voted for you, you are going to compensate them, then we'll continue to have problems. We should look away from that, because we know that that's exactly what people are looking for. So we should try to do the other one, because if we continue to do the same thing over and over again, we are ready to change. We are not ready to move forward, honestly. Because that is what we do in this country. Look at it from 1999. And not until we learn our own kind of democracy and we try to pattern our own after what we see that people will abide by, then we will know where. We don't say because people are opposing democracy, we must follow what they are doing without minding our own peculiarity. That is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you again. I do know. Well, now moving on, talking about the election petitions. Another source of worry would be the fact that, well, after elections, cases go to court, and the courts have 180 days, at the election petition level, and if there's an appeal, there's another 60 days allotted, which would mean that 240 days. In that 240 days, whoever it is that was declared winner, even if the courts, even if the election petition tribunal overturns the election, that person will still be in power, would be sworn in, and would still be in power for another 21 days. So within that 21 days, they're also allowed to file a petition or an appeal. If they file an appeal, they're still going to be in office. I'm putting this out just to clear, because I've heard people say stuff like the courts would overturn the election and the person who was declared winner would leave. That's not the law. That's not what the Constitution or the Electoral Act even says. Hello, good morning.
Hello, my friends.
Good morning, Paul.
Yeah, my friend, just a quick one. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, please. You have 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, my own little suggestion is that I thought if the president signed that the incoming president must have his cabinet ready before swearing in. I think there was something like that he signed.
Yeah, he said he has 60. The person would have 60 days from the day they take over to appoint, their cabinet members.
The line is breaking. But anyway, I didn't quite hear what you said. But my own suggestion is that in for the president to have signed that, it would have been included that the key position should be spread all over the zone. That should have given a balance of these appointments. And then at the end of the day, I still look forward to where they will either one single term for whoever wins the election, and then it should be rotated. It should be a rotating one. That if this zone rule, another zone will rule. That's how it should be. Thank you.
All right, Paul. Paul, speaking of rotational presidency there, and now when I mentioned earlier, the bill that was signed by the president, Paul, just for your understanding, is a bill that that guarantees that whoever it is that's sworn in as president would have 60 days from when they take over to appoint their cabinet members, right? So you wouldn't have what happened in the Buhari administration, where it took 6 months before ministers were appointed and all that. That's what the president signed into law. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Happy Easter, sir.
Good morning.
Well done, sir.
Taking me.
I hope my chicken and rice for the Easter, is still waiting for me.
You really want to send it now? Send it. Send it across.
Well done, my prince.
Go ahead, let's hear you,
calling
please.
from Nasarawa State. Yes, my prince, you see, a lot of Nigerians wish that our system would have been, in a way that if there's any dispute after the general, election, the president will not be sworn in until the court have been able to conclude their own judgment. But unfortunately, it's not like that, because if it is only the matter of law, of course, it can be done. But if it is a matter of evidence and fact, because our courts depend on fact that you bring before it. Because even though the judges are in Nigeria, they will see whatever that happens. And if you don't bring the fact, they will still not give you judgment, in your favor. Mm-hmm. So bringing the fact means that for the presidential election, it means that those who are in court, if they have an issue, they have to bring it polling unit by polling unit. And my prince, it's a huge job. You will bring your evidence polling units by polling unit. Yes. So you see, it is not something that can be done within 2 weeks or even 1 month. But if it's a matter of law, it can be done quickly. So those that should be done, in future. But having said that, my prince, one thing I want to say, because I've been doing the program, I would have loved that the incoming president that is coming, please, those people that were free by the court said they should release that. We are calling on the incoming president. If you come, people like, Kanu, Dasuki, please let them go. I don't know why Buhari cannot obey court order. When they say free those guys, we are still keeping them there. So we are appealing to the incoming government as soon as you enter office. That should be the first thing, the first week. The court said, leave him the Kanu to go. Allow him to go. Dasuki, allow him to go. He has been there rotting in jail. This is unfair. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much. I guess Dasuki had been released for quite a while now. Well, maybe Nnamdi Kanu, like you mentioned. There's another issue coming up is the one where people are saying collation would have been done electronically and all. INEC has responded to that. By the guidelines, collation is done manually with the form EC8A and the likes, and finally what is collated on the form EC8A is what's transmitted electronically. To sort out the argument as to whether collation was done manually or electronically, INEC has also said it would be sending 2 of its representatives to court, as witnesses to testify in court, especially IT staff to testify in court. And they say they stuck strictly to the INEC guidelines as well as the Electoral Act and the Constitution in the conduct of the 2023 elections. Now, do not forget, I think it was Paul that mentioned, said the courts, it's not about what you know, what you see. It's about what you're able to prove in court. It is not even about what the judge thinks or what the judge knows. It is about what you're able to prove in court. So if you don't provide a solid argument that proves beyond reasonable doubt, then you may not even have judgment go your way. Hello, good morning. That was going to be our final call, but it seems like we'll have to wrap it up now. Tomorrow we'll be talking about this and how we should be able to get to the point where after elections are done, the Electoral Act amendments, maybe constitutional amendments as to what it would mean for Nigerians when after elections are done, if there are court cases, whoever it is, isn't either sworn in or they're sworn in, and the moment the court says this election has been overturned, they are made to vacate office. Just imagine, look at the typical example would be what's going on right now in Osun State, where the court had initially, at the election petition tribunal, had said Adeleke didn't win the election, and are now pronounced Oyetola winner. Within that period, Adeleke was still governor. until he filed an appeal, and while there, the Court of Appeal, overturned the judgment of the petition court of the election petition tribunal. So these are some of the things that Nigerians need to start to look at, rather than just complain. Find ways to turn the laws and make sure that the laws favors you. Because once a winner has been declared in an election, that person would be sworn in, whether the case is in the Supreme Court or at the ICJ, at The Hague. Doesn't matter where it is. By our laws, the person is sworn in first, and the person stays there. Even when the court overturns it, they have another 21 days to file an appeal and all that while they're still in office. They're not going to vacate the seats. So the earlier the better. Nigerians begin to look at what, set an agenda for the National Assembly. That's probably what we're going to be looking at next, tomorrow. By tomorrow, hopefully, set an agenda for the 10th Assembly, especially as regards the Electoral Act and the constitutional amendments. Stay with us. Business News is up next. Thank you all for being a part of the conversation this morning. My name is Iya Nacho Print. And Business News is up next. Right after that, the Media Extra crew takes over. Keep it here.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number